everyone, my name is Sarah, I am one half of the YA Room, and today I have created the original BuzzFeed Unsolved book tag. I have been a massive fan of BuzzFeed Unsolved only for probably the past year or so, but I am absolutely obsessed with it. I feel like I've seen every episode hundreds of times. Oh my god, I just love Shane and Ryan and all these like creepy little adventures they go on. Oh, it is just like the best series of all time. If you don't know what BuzzFeed Unsolved is, it is basically this like BuzzFeed series on YouTube where these two men, Shane and Ryan, explore everything from supernatural to crimes to conspiracies, and it is so good. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, please go check it out so we can come and fangirl together. Oh my god. I actually first discovered this series because of the meme, you know, the one, "Hey there demons, it's me, your boy."
Hey there demons, it's me, your boy.
Iconic. So I was like, where did this come from? What show is this? I desperately want to watch it. So from there, I did a little bit of investigating and I landed up on the BuzzFeed Unsolved YouTube page. And from there, I binged 2 seasons of BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural in like the space of a day. I went from being someone who doesn't believe in ghosts and anything supernatural like demons or whatnot into being like, you know, maybe they do exist. So for those of you that do watch BuzzFeed Unsolved, you could say I went from being a Shaniac to a Boogara. Yeah, I'm quite proud of that transition. I think I leveled up. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the BuzzFeed Unsolved book tag. Question number 1 is Shaniac, a book or series you don't believe deserves all the hype. So in BuzzFeed Unsolved, a Shaniac is referring to Shane, who doesn't believe in ghosts or anything supernatural. He doesn't understand the hype, he's not here for it. So for that prompt, I have chosen Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I just like do not understand the hype surrounding this series. I know a lot of people are really obsessed with it. Unfortunately, I am not one of those people. I read this book and I was severely underwhelmed. I was expecting really great things from it because I heard so many people raving about it, and I just didn't love it. I felt like the characters were underdeveloped and two-dimensional, and I just wasn't a fan of the overall plot and the love interest. Oh my god, don't even get me started. Not a fan. So yep, overall I was just severely underwhelmed by Caraval. I don't think it lives up to the hype. I am a Shaniac. When it comes to Caraval, I don't believe that it should have such a massive fan base. I mean, it's great that lots of people enjoy this book. Just wasn't for me. I mean, I did read the second book, Legendary, but as more of like a trash read. I kind of made fun of it, which in itself was a lot of fun, but Caraval, no, doesn't do it for me. Prompt number 2 is Boogara, a book that chilled you to the core. For this one, how could I not choose Small Spaces by Sarah Epstein? Again, for those of you that don't know, a Boogara refers to Ryan, who does believe in ghosts and everything supernatural, which is really fun to see play out on camera. And so I wanted to choose a book that reflects the same fear that Ryan experiences every time they go to a new location. Small Spaces is a book that I started late at night and it kept me up until I finished reading it, and then I was too scared to go and venture into my kitchen for a snack because this book was terrifying. It also didn't help that it was really windy outside when I was reading this book, and the sound of like the tree branches scraping against my window, that's something I never want to hear again when I'm reading a really creepy book. Thank you very much. This book was creepy enough as it is. And then the surrounding atmosphere outside my bedroom just made this experience 100 times more terrifying. If you haven't heard of Small Spaces, it is a book about a girl who basically had an imaginary friend when she was a kid, and then when she is a teen, her imaginary friend comes back. It is so delightfully creepy. It will keep you up at night thinking about what's gonna happen, and the twist will like, oh, you'll just be shook. This book is one of my favorites of all time and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Prompt number 3 is SHITFISH, a book that you're not sure where you stand on. In the world of BuzzFeed Unsolved, a SHITFISH refers to someone who is neither a Shaniac nor a Boogara, but someone who sits kind of in the middle and they can't make their mind up. So for this prompt, I have chosen The Darkest Legacy by Alexandra Bracken. I was a massive fan of the original series. I loved The Darkest Minds and all the original characters, and I wanted to feel that same love for The Darkest Legacy, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was still a really enjoyable read, and I loved reading from Zoo's perspective, but I just missed the original gang and all their banter, and I know they have like cameos in this book, but it just felt like, I don't know, like it was trying to be something it wasn't. Maybe that's because my reading tastes have changed, and maybe I'll never be the same reader as I was back in my early teen years when I read The Darkest Minds. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it. I'm a shitfish when it comes to this book. Prompt number 4 is Hey There Demons, it's me, ya boy. This prompt is a book that kept you up late at night, and for this one I have chosen This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. You'll know I love Queen V, and This Savage Song is the first book I ever read by her. I was just so enthralled and captivated by her world and this story about monsters and morality and humanity, and it was just so good. I connected with the characters from page 1. I desperately wanted to know what was going to happen in this world where killing people creates monsters. It was just such a cool premise. And I love this series with all of my heart. Oh my god. So yes, I was definitely kept up late at night wanting to find out what happened at the very end. And then from there, of course, I was left devastated because I needed to read the second book immediately. If you haven't picked up This Savage Song yet, oh my god, what are you waiting for? It is such an incredible read. If you love A Darker Shade of Magic, hopefully you'll enjoy this one just as much. Prompt number 5 is Wheeze.
Ugh. That's all you gotta say about that?
A book that made you laugh out loud. And for this one, how could I not choose The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This is such a hilarious novel. Oh my god, I'm laughing out loud on like every page. Monty and Percy and their banter was just iconic, and Felicity was such a funny, sassy character. I could not get enough of her. Just like this trio was so iconic. Their moments and their laughter, oh, just everything about it was so great. This book follows the life of these 3 teens when they go on like a grand tour of Europe, and basically everything goes wrong. Like they run into highwaymen, they run into pirates, they like are caught making out with random people that they shouldn't be with, and so many laughs. If you're looking for a funny, adventurous book with a queer romance, look no further than The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. The next prompt is The Mothman, which is a book that is a hyped favorite.
He's throwing popcorn?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
In case you don't know, The Mothman is one of my favorite episodes of BuzzFeed Unsolved. It follows the story where Shane and Ryan go to this town that like celebrates kind of the gruesome appearance or discovery of the Mothman. The Mothman is apparently this like giant winged being that flies all across like the forest and everything and really freaks people out. I really want to see the Mothman. That'd be so good. But yes, this town loves the Mothman. Everything is inspired by the Mothman there. And so for this one, I chose a hyped book that is received just as well as the Mothman is. So I chose A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. A Darker Shade of Magic is a super hyped book. I feel like everyone has been talking about it for the last few years, and rightfully so. It is one of my favorite books of all time. It is so good, so captivating. The characters are just like people that I would be willing to take a bullet for. I love them all so much. Even like the evil characters. Yeah, I'd die for them, sure. Just trust the hype for this book. I know that everyone is screaming about it, but they have good reason to, because it is one of my favorite series of all time. And if you haven't picked it up yet, please, what are you waiting for? Just do it and let me know what you think of it. The next prompt is Holy Water, a book that you would protect with your life. Just like Ryan would protect his holy water. It's become a joke between Shane and Ryan that Ryan should have his holy water on him at all times because he doesn't know when there might be a demonic presence. So just like he would be willing to sacrifice everything to make sure nothing bad happens to his holy water, I would do the same for They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I've heard that a lot of people have mixed opinions about They Bow Tie at the End, but it is one of my favorite books of all time and it has such a special place in my heart. For those of you that don't know, They Bow Tie at the End takes place in a speculative future where on the day that you die, you get a phone call saying you're going to die in the next 24 hours. There's also this app called Last Friend where people who are gonna die can connect with other people in the same situation or with a friend who can like help them through that. So that's how Rufus and Mateo come into contact, and just seeing how special their friendship was and how it evolved throughout the course of 24 hours was just so beautiful. This book tore my heart and soul to pieces. It was soul crushing, but I love it all the more for that. It is a book that tells you to live each day to the fullest and to not worry about what other people think of you and to be the best version of yourself, and I just really loved those messages in it. So yes, They Bow Tie at the End is definitely a book that I would protect with my life. The next prompt is Demons, a book that you are too scared to read. For this one, I've chosen The First Time She Drowned by Kerry Kletter because I know that this book will ruin me emotionally. Just from the premise, I know that it's going to be such a heart-stopping read. I know that it's going to break me inside, and I don't know if I'm like really ready for that yet. I don't know. The First Time She Drowned is a book about a girl whose mother put her in like a psychiatric facility when she was young, and now that she's out of that, she has to kind of deal with the ramifications and her relationship with her mother. It sounds like a really tough read. I know that it's gonna cause me a lot of emotional pain, and I'm just like scared to read it because of that fact. I have heard brilliant things about it and I will read it one day, but today is definitely not the day. The next prompt is, But Now This Mystery Remains Unsolved. A book that you wanted more from or didn't want to end, and for this one I chose Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Radio Silence follows the life of Frances, who creates fan art from her favourite podcast, University, and one day the creator of the podcast gets in contact with her and wants her to make fan art, official fan art, for the channel. But this book isn't just about podcasts, it's about the friendship between the creator and Frances, and it's about the effects of popularity on the internet. It's about tough family situations and queer romance and friendships, and it is just so pure. Radio Silence is a book I've reread about 20 times. I will never get sick of it. It is my favorite book of all time, and I just didn't want it to end. Especially that last scene in the very last chapter. I want to know what happens next. I want to see that next chapter of their lives. I want to see them grow up and be happy and start new friendships and maintain their relationships, and it's just, I am experiencing all the feels. This book just means so much to me, and there's nothing more I want in the world than a continuation of this story to see where all the characters' lives end up. The next prompt is BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem, a book that you still have questions about. For this prompt, I chose 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews because, oh my god, I have so many questions that need to be answered. Honestly, Kate, get in touch with me. Tell me that all these characters' lives are like alright. Tell me you haven't killed anyone because they're all so precious and I just want to make sure they're happy and I just can't deal. I have a lot of questions. First of all, how's Joey going? What does she end up doing with her life? Second of all, what's up with the mother? Where's she at? Can I stab her? Third of all, is August happy? Fourth of all, how's Beck? I have a lot of questions. But I guess my main question for Kate is, will we ever see these characters again in like a spin-off book or a short story? Because I am here for that. I would 100% read that. As long as you don't hurt any of these precious characters, we're all good. And the last prompt is Hot DAGA, a trashy fave. For this prompt, I have chosen Save the Date by Morgan Matson. Oh my god, it is so trashy and so fluffy, and I love it so much. Save the Date is a book about this girl whose sister is getting married and everything goes wrong on her wedding day. And I don't just mean everything, I mean literally everything you can think of goes wrong. And for that reason, it is such like a funny, trashy book There's also some really great romance in there that I adore. The family relationships are so good. But what I love this book for is, of course, the trashy nature of all those things that go wrong. When I say trashy, I mean like funny, fluffy, that kind of thing. I don't mean bad. This is by no means a bad book. It's definitely one of my favorites I've read recently. And I just love how lighthearted it was. I wouldn't say it's quite in the same realm as Hot DAGA, but it is definitely a really fun read that you should check out if you haven't already. But that is it for my BuzzFeed Unsolved original book tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was so much fun to make and to reminisce about some of my favorite aspects of BuzzFeed Unsolved. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I would love for you to do this book tag as well. Are you a fan of BuzzFeed Unsolved? Are you a Shaniac or a Boogara or a SHITFISH? I would love to hear your thoughts. See you next time. Bye everyone!